Miaka 5 iliyopita nimeitwa na mchungaji Webuye, Mumias, samahani, Mumias baba. Nikakata tikiti yangu, mimi napenda sana kazi ya Mungu. Nikakata tikiti yangu, nikajipeleka Mumias. Nikafika Mumias saa 2 usiku. Askofu akaniambia enda hoteli fulani. Nikaenda hoteli fulani. Kakuta pale nikakaribishwa. Kufika saa 5 usiku mlango imegongwa na mimi unajua ni mwembamba, nimevaa boxer. Sina hata vest, boxer peke yake. Nikasema ni hawa watu wanauliza watu chakula, wacha nifungue niitishe chakula. Hata nikaenda nikifikiria ati ninaitisha chips na kuku. Sasa kufungua hivi bwana, nimekutana na kisu upande huu, panga upande huu. Nikaamba tufuate polepole. Ni Wasomali watupu. Wakaniingiza kwa gari, nikapelekwa kwa shamba ya miwa. Siku hiyo ndio nimeona ile kisu ya miwa. Nikasikia wakiongea, huyo mchungaji kwani amepewa pesa ngapi, ametupatia ngapi. Kumbe Wasomali wa Israeli wamechanga, wamempa mchungaji pesa. Alafu mchungaji akatuma watu waje waniue. Kwa hivyo akaanza kudiscuss. Mmoja akakosea, akaniambia Haji, tunaomba uombe maombi ya mwisho. Nikaambia sisi wa Kristo hatunaga maombi ya mwisho, tuna maombi ya mwanzo, kwa sababu tukikufa tunaanzaga dunia nyingine tena. So tunaombaga maombi ya mwanzo. Wakashangaa. Nikaanza kuwafundisha process yetu sisi wa Kristo, bla bla bla, vile ambavyo tunaingiaga mbinguni. Nikaambia sasa hivi mkiniua ninawaachia hii mwili. Mimi huwa nimeondoka nikiwasalimia nikienda zangu kwa Yesu. Kwa hivyo nyinyi mmebaki na mili, mimi niko na Yesu, tunaangalia vile mnafanya. Nikaanza kuwahubiria. Mmoja akasema jamani, hata kama tumekula pesa, ujamaa tusimgushe. Wakaanza kugombana, wakagombana. Walipomaliza kugombana, wakanifuata wakaniambia Haji, tunaomba tafadhali usirudi kwa hoteli. Sisi tutasema tumekuwa, lakini usirudi kwa hoteli. Nikamwambia sawa, haina shida. Kwa hivyo nikaenda barabarani. Nimesimamisha malori zote zinakimbia. Lori moja ikasimama, ikacheka. Dereva akacheka akasema najua shida yako. Nishapitia hali kama yako, ingia kwa gari nikusaidie. Hamuja nielewa. Nilikuwa na kaboksa peke yake. So sijua alifikiria nimeshikwa na mume wa mtu, nikatoroka. Sasa akaniambia hivi, boksa baridi mama ya saa 9 na mimi mwembamba natetemeka. Alipoingia ndani akaniambia hey bwana, unajua sisi wanaume hatuna akili, usiendeke kwa watu. Akaniambia, nikamwacha tu akamaliza. Nikamwambia habari yako mzuri, uko na simu? Akaniambia ndio. Nikamwekea YouTube. Akaanza kusikiza. Nikamwambia mimi ndo huyo. Na unavyoniona hivi nilikuwa
Yeah, to say it all, if there is a pastor who really inspires me, is this guy, Pastor Haji. He's from Somali, and he was a Muslim, a very strong Muslim, who did what Paul did, persecuted Christians, thinking that that is the way. And just like Paul, this guy met Christ Jesus. And when he narrates his story, how he met Christ Jesus, it was something miraculous. Like there is nothing else you can say about that something happened over that. So let me tell you part of his story, background story, before I tell you where I met him. Yeah, he says he met Christ and he was converted. Jesus converted him to Christianity. Conversion is not the right word to use over here, but he changed his faith to Christianity. He became one of the passionate Christians preaching the gospel. And this guy has gone through hell, torment, torture from Muslims after one another, after the other, from his family trying to find him, to torture him, to kill him. But every time that one happens, he never loses his faith, and the way God rescues him from that is very amazing, that you can never ever doubt God. Yes, sometimes I've gone through much, and sometimes I feel like God is not with me. But every time I remember his story and I go through it again, I feel like, oh God, you're with me in this. So when this guy converted to Christianity, or when he became a Christian, his father was one of the greatest people. He said this father was very rich and one of the greatest people in Islam. And father was the one enabling him to go around and do the work he was doing, building mosques around, changing people, converting non-Christians to Islam, and telling them how Allah is based and Allah is God, there's no other God but Allah, persecuting other Christians who comes his way. And the story begins very simple. he was flying to Mecca for a Hajj, and then he met Christ, and then in the plane, Christ shows very many things and all that. If you need to hear the story, you go get it. You'll hear the story very well. And then over that comes. After that, many appearances of Christ unto him, and he's trying to reject because he knows that is, that is haram. And this Jesus claiming is God, that is haram. That is not what the scriptures. That is what the Quran says. That is haram. So he couldn't listen to that. Now, on his way back home, he meets this young boy, and this young boy talks to him more about Christ. Young boy talks to him more about Christ. And he feels like he should kill this boy because who are you telling me about Jesus? But this boy doesn't stop. This boy keeps on pestering him and telling him more about Christ Jesus. And he starts asking, why is this boy not afraid? I have threatened him that I'll kill him, but this boy is not going. I've threatened that I'll kill his parent. This boy is not going. So he wanted to know the parents of this boy and warned the parents, telling them, stop this boy, stop. Let this boy never ever tell me about this thing that is telling me because I don't like. But the boy never stopped. The boy continued until his guy converted. And after his conversion to Christianity, he went back home and he had to declare it open to his parents. And one of his parents, that is the father has a couple of wives. The father was a very, 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 very shrewd guy when it comes to torturing Christians. So the father put a bounty on his head that anyone who kills him and brings his head home, he will be given some good amount of money because the father was rich. The father was very rich. And the story continued, and this guy goes away, and he finds himself in a forest. He doesn't have food, he doesn't have anything, and he's just praying and wishing that God will save him from that. So there comes a God, there comes pray for food, God doesn't provide that food. Then happens that there was a guy who was herding the sheep, the goats and the sheep. So one of the goats comes his way. Is it a goat? Is it a goat or a sheep? I'm not so sure about that, but he said that was the thing. So one of those thing, either goat or a sheep comes, and the goat is lactating. And then the goat gets close to him. It goes down. This guy suckles the milk from the goat, and then he uses the goat's urine as water. Then the goat disappears. So the goat does that for several days. Then the goat decides to stay with this guy forever. So it goes out to graze, and then comes back whenever this guy has to feed. Then it provides for him, provides the milk for him, and urine for whatever, washing and all that, and then go. So the owner of the goat starts looking for the goat. They try looking for it, and then he finds out that the goat is always with Adam Hajj. Then Adam Hajj asks him, are you the owner of this goat? Yes, he says, yes, it has been missing for some time, for some days, and I've been looking for it all. And Adam says, no, it was always here with me, providing it. Leaves, goes to graze, and it comes back, provides milk for me, and all that. And then something interesting. This guy preaches the gospel to this guy, and then this guy converts to Christianity. And he tells them, go outside, but don't tell them it's me who has led you to Christianity, because they are after my life. Then that guy goes out and preaches the gospel. So he sneaks, goes back home, preaches the gospel to the mother and the father, the mother and the brothers, but the father doesn't really get close to him, because if he does, he will kill him. So one of his mothers, stepmother, gives his life to Christ. And because she cannot run because she was pregnant, the father decides to do the undoable. He gets a power soul, separates her into two, because she has become a kafir. She has become a kafir, not obeying the laws of Allah. She has become a kafir. And that one happens. But that one doesn't stop Adam Hajj from preaching the gospel. He gets the confidence to preach the gospel. At a given moment, he says he pretended that he's a mad guy, and he went to Ismail. That is the stronghold of Islam. He went to Ismail and started preaching. So when the Muslims look at this guy, they look at this guy as a mad person, and the Muslims don't have any problem with a mad person, so they don't bother him at any point. They just leave him continue preaching the gospel because he's a mad person. But for him, he's achieving whatever he wants. Click to part 2 of this story of Adam Hajj, because that was interesting. This guy motivates me. He motivates me. And today, I was so dull and was thinking, but I've listened to his story. This story that you've heard from the beginning, I'm going to preach the gospel. It doesn't matter. I will preach the gospel as much as I can. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to stop. Click for the next. Subscribe. Leave your comment. Gospel Part 2.